Parshas Bo we discuss over here in the new month, Rosh Chodesh. Pasuk says, "Chodesh is elachem, reish chadashim rishon hu, לחדשי השנה." Talks about the first month. Question is, why are there no pictures in the Gemara? No pictures in the Gemara, pretty much. Diagrams. Why not? Well, why yes? Well, based on Rashi and this pasuk, maybe we'll get an understanding. Rashi explains that Moshe was perplexed that the moon reappeared. What size it has to be for him to be fit to sanctify. Kiddush Levana, as we learned in the past. So Hashem used his finger and said, if you see it like this, then you could sanctify it. So Alanu Leshabayach relates that from here we see the concept of visual aids. Diagrams, charts, pictures. Even Hashem taught Moshe certain concepts through visual aids. However, not everything should be taught with visual aids. Rabbi Yitzchak Dovid Grossbard, the Rosh Kollel of the Ran Yeshivah in Elad, relates that when he was learning in the Yeshiva in Ponevezh, Rav Shach brought him out to the porch. And he spoke strongly against a certain educational booklet that had extensive illustrations. Rav Shach said it's forbidden to accustom young children to learn everything through visual aids. Why? If children get used to learning in this way, they're going to need these aids, even for concepts that cannot be taught through visual aids. Once they get used to using visual aids, they might not be able to absorb the material if they don't have a picture or diagram to refer to. And they may even refuse to learn altogether because of that. Now, even though there's a place for visual aids, like we just saw Hashem instructed Moshe through the visual aids, how the moon should appear, nevertheless, if the material could be taught without visual aids, forget about them. Forget about the pictures, forget about the diagrams. In any given situation, you have to weigh the pros and the cons of these visual aids. And keep Rav Shach's comment in mind. Therefore, when you teach Torah, be cautious about using the visual aids. You could bring the material to life even without the visual aids. He talks about, for example, says, let's say there are two people drowning. One is a king, one is a Talmud Chacham. Who do you save? Talmud Chacham. See how important a Talmud Chacham is. Irreplaceable. You don't need visual aids for that. One other point. I mention my own ideas on this. Victor Miller Zetzel says if a picture is worth 1,000 words, why aren't there drawings, diagrams, pictures in the Gemara to make very clear what the Gemara is about? The Torah, the main part of the Torah is the Torah Shabbat Peh, oral Torah, the Gemara. The Gemara was memorized, was never written down until relatively recently throughout our long history. How could you have diagrams if it was only memorized? No. One of my chavrusas, he said, send me one of the shiurim you have. I want to show you what the AI can do. So I sent it to him. And 10 minutes later, 15 minutes, very quick, he used, I think he called Gemini. And he had a special upgrade package. And he took the whole shiur. It was, why is it better to serve a Talmud Chacham than learn from him? Yeshua, right? It's one of my favorites. Whole thing in an hour. The AI had presented I think it was around 15-page PowerPoint presentation of it with pictures, notes, did the whole thing. Incredible.
I want to see it. I haven't seen it. Is there any way to send it? The Rav Shach would have was it a couple months ago, maybe? I don't know.
It was like this. Showed it to my wife. Said, yeah, amazing, whatever. You could sell this as a course. There are kids or something, I don't know, in schools, you can make a whole thing. This is more of a, let's say, for example, you have Sefer Yeshua. So you could have the Sefer, regular words, 300, 400 pages. versus you could have these booklets. They're much more eye-opening, much more whatever. Question is it diluting it? Is it changing it? Read it, you go through it, you tension getter, what they talk about there. That's one point, the visual aids. Another point is you have certain masechtas. Most of them you don't need. It's certainly easier if you have a picture. Sukkah, Eruvin, parts of Masechah Shabbos, parts of Baba Basra. You have other Masechtas, Kiloyim, for example, Yevamos. You have Siyurim LeMaseches Yevamos, which is a thorough sefer with charts. And Chulin, animals, Shchita. You have the concept of that, maybe even Menachos a little in with Tefillin, Tzitzis, Mezuzah, Stam. You have this concept. You have the Per Halacha on Mishnah Berurah. You have those Vahad the Mishnah Berurah, the Mesivtas, the art scrolls that they're giving the pictures. The question is, Amelos B'Torah. So it comes down to. Main thing is the toil and learning. Work hard at it. Break your head over it. You see all too often nowadays people who are capable of learning Gemara, sitting a little bit longer on it, working at it, and they just try to open the art scroll, and you see them, they don't even look at the Gemara side. They just read the English. It's not a mahalach. If someone's capable of learning properly, can't resort to it. You see all the Torah that we learn, all of it. It's limited. There's no art scroll on it. All the Torah that we learn, essentially, it's uncharted territories. This is the real Torah. This is real halacha that we learn. This is real Torah, not diluted, not distorted, not fluffy stuff. It's 100% pure, beautiful Torah, and that's why we all feel so good after we sit here every single day for 40 minutes or so, and we get up. You feel good because you changed. It's real Torah. You worked hard with it. You used your brain. They say that, I don't have a source for this, but they say that one of the problems with children being on the screen too much, watching videos, even if it's kosher videos, it's Uncle Moshe, it's a music video that's totally kosher. They say that if children watch this too much, it takes away their imagination, which is very important for the development growth. It's one of the many issues, So instead of looking at the visual aids and then just focusing on that and then thinking that you understand the entire topic at hand because you saw a picture, learn it properly. Learn the thing properly. You're not gonna. If you just look at a picture, you're not gonna know it's a machlekes between Hillel and Shammai. You're gonna look at a picture in the beginning of Maseches Eruvin. You're gonna see a lechi and a kaira, a crossbeam and a side post. You're gonna understand the machlekes Hillel Shammai there. If you need both or just one, and in which case you won't understand it. You'll see a picture, you think that you got something, but you're not gonna understand. You're not gonna understand why you need the lechi and the kaira. It's not that hard. You don't need a picture of a lechi and a kaira. Just picture a cross beam on the top and a lechi and a side post. Those things also. So only after, if a person learns, tries to understand it, but can't, then you can have the visual aid. Also, the question is, who wrote the visual aid? Who drew the picture? Did the person who drew it, did he learn the topic thoroughly and properly? That's also something to contend with. So, yes, our children.
You could ask that about it.
Yes, they did great. Many people are learning that had not been for art scroll, they wouldn't learn. But the question is, those people are able to learn without the art scroll. And now they're using it. It's like the saying goes, a guy broke his leg and he needs a crutch. And he's still going to use the crutch after the cast is off and he's totally healed. It's slowing you down. It's stunting your growth. So that's basically what I got to say about visual aids. Yeah. What'd you say, David?
You could say that about anything, though. You could say it about